Things change, but Deer Park Natural Spring Water is a constant you can count on, bringing you the essence of home for 150 years and counting. Sourced from carefully selected springs, Deer Park Natural Spring Water has naturally occurring electrolytes for a crisp, refreshing taste. Find Deer Park Natural Spring Water at your favorite local retailer today. After 150 years, there's only one thing left to say. Deer Park, that's still good water.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
A twisting two-hander, a wild psychological thriller, Morgan Lloyd Malcolm's The Wasp will leave you guessing until the end and stars Jessica Bell and Cara Whitehouse. Presented by new independent theatre company Akimbo & Co., this show will be seeing the King's Cross Theatre out, so it's your last chance to soak up the theatre space that has given so much to Sydney. The Wasp plays from the 2nd to the 17th of December. Book your tickets via our website or head to the KXT site now. Welcome everyone to the final episode of the Theatre Thoughts podcast for 2022. This is officially our first season. We've made it. Thank you if you are a long-time listener for sticking along for the journey for the year. If you're new, and if this is your first podcast, please go back and listen to all our episodes from this year. You can see the trajectory of where I started with the podcast and where we've come to today, and also the sound quality, thanks to Akin Audio, being of an advanced quality. Now, because we are heading into the Christmas and the holiday season, I actually have someone very special in the studio today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, Justin, I think I need no introduction to you today.
Yes, I know. So, if you aren't aware, we actually have, you go by many names. You go by many names. Father Christmas, Kris Kringle, Santa Claus, Santa Claus.
Oh, you can call me Santa.
Right, Santa. Well, do you often listen to podcasts? Are you a podcast listener?
Oh, well, we don't generally have podcasts that reach the North Pole, but the elves do a podcast sort of thing from the workshop where they sort of live stream them making the gifts into the North Pole itself, and so I can kind of see what the little elves are doing, and then I can tune in, and Mrs. Claus tunes in as well. Although I must say, Justin, I've heard your podcast, and you've done a very good job this year, which is why you are on the nice list.
Oh, I'm on the nice list. That's so great. Wow. Thanks, Santa. Well, how's the year been? It's been very busy. I know that obviously you've been making toys and doing everything that you have to do for the Christmas year. I mean, I don't want to keep you too long.
No, not at all, Justin. It's been very busy, and Santa would love to kick up his feet and go and watch a musical or a play of some sort. The elves do put on a very good Christmas nativity and a Christmas carol every single year, which Mrs. Claus and I love to go and watch.
Wow, okay, that's great. Well, I don't want to keep you much longer. I know you're coming up to your deadline, so thank you so much for joining us.
Not at all, my boy. And I hope you have a very happy holiday and enjoy your break before your next 2023 3 season of your podcast, and I would love to come back again and say hello to everyone. But as you said, I must be going, and I have a very busy deadline with Christmas coming up. So happy holidays to all, and to all a good night. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Whoa, there he goes. Wow, Santa. Okay, well, I guess after our special guest has left, that we get into the wrap-up for the year. So I'm going to go and break this podcast into 3 different sections. The first section is going to be focusing on a discussion with some of our famous playwrights about their process for writing plays and musicals. The second section is going to focus on the mishaps that happen on stage and what actually goes on behind the scenes that we don't often hear about as audience members. And then the last one is a reflection on the 1-minute theatre thoughts game that I personally love playing and have loved bringing into the podcast. Well, the first part I want to focus on is our playwrights. We've had some amazing playwrights on for the year, and you're going to have a quick throwback, I suppose, back through some of the best highlights of having these playwrights on. The first person you will hear is Kirsty Marillier, who wrote The Orange Thrower. We had a chat with her about her play Orange Thrower, which premiered at the Griffin Theatre. The other play, which also premiered at the Griffin Theatre Company this year, was Dylan Vanderberg's White Fella Yellow Tree. And then, of course, one of our most streamed and listened to episodes of the year was Fangirls, featuring the one and only Yve Blake. So you will hear a snippet of her discussing her process for writing. So please enjoy the first part of our throwback featuring Kirsty Marillier, Dylan Vandenberg, and Yve Blake.
Orange Thrower is kind of form-breaking in a lot of different ways, and surrealist and magic realist at certain points. I think I would love to do like a kitchen sink drama with 6 or 7 or 8 characters. I think that I would need to work my way up to that, though.
Okay.
I'd love to write something period. I'd love to write something in like the 1940s. Yeah, I really want to write like a big family drama. I don't know if it's necessarily next, but it's definitely a part of that 5-year trajectory. And performing like still just always will be there. I sort of need both. I don't think ever one will fall by the wayside. They inform each other all the time. And I would also love to do another production of Orange Thrower, whether that would be in South Africa or overseas somewhere in the UK. I mean, that's kind of big dream stuff.
Oh, that'd be amazing if you took that to the UK, even South Africa.
Or like Edinburgh Festival. I don't know.
Oh, take it easily to the Edinburgh Fringe. I love the Fringe.
We love
you could
the
easily
Fringe.
Take it over there.
Yeah, not sure about the set, but, we could figure it out. So,
I could just imagine the marketing for that. You'd stand on the laneway leading up to Edinburgh Castle. I could just imagine be very orange. You could maybe sell some oranges to people, and people would come in.
Totally.
I'm picturing it.
I can see it. I know. I can feel it. Yeah, or even, to be honest, another production over in Melbourne or in Queensland or in Perth. Yeah, I would love to. I think because this play has been in development for so long, I mean, I've had people say to me, we were really worried this play would get stuck in development land, which is the development purgatory.
Yeah.
Where plays never leave.
Yeah.
And it was at risk of that, I think, for a hot second there. But it's out of that nebulous now. So
good.
I think I want to just see it I just want to see it in front of audiences. I want to get it in front of as many audiences as possible.
I had this idea for the play a few years ago. I generally, because I'm lazy, I have an idea and it takes me years before I actually do anything about it. But I had this idea for a play set under a lemon tree. I didn't really know what it was going to be about or what it would be, but this idea of a romance, a love story between 2 boys on the cusp of manhood. And it was around that time that I saw a tweet by Anthony Mundine basically saying that queerness didn't exist in First Nations cultures, that it was forbidden. And I just thought, wow. Oh, Dal, you've got no idea. I decided.
Oh, Anthony.
What are you thinking? And I thought that, but I was also really concerned and distressed too, because, how false and disorienting to read that your identity is at odds with your culture, and how destabilizing to see non-First Nations people cling on to comments like that because Anthony is an Aboriginal man, and assume that they carry some weight because of his heritage and background, because it's just not true. And so I wanted to write a play that kind of spoke back to history and filled in those gaps, because the history we have of queer blackness is through a white lens, and therefore it's generally being erased. And I thought I wanted to kind of, have some fun and fill those gaps again, and write something a bit camp, a bit lovey-dovey, but also that actually engaged with this idea of colonization, erasing those identities as well.
Continuing on that topic, as a young writer, what advice would you kind of give to other young writers that are developing works? And is there anyone in particular, this is a good question, is there anyone in particular who we should watch out for?
Oh my God, I have so much to say on the topic. Okay. Woo! What advice do I have for young writers, and who are some writers to look out for? So I love both of these questions. I'll start with the first one. My advice for young writers is don't shame yourself about what you think you're supposed to already know how to do. I don't know how to focus and write, so I have to use traps. I have to turn off my internet. I have to use an app called Freedom that blocks websites and even whole apps off my computer. And I even use this amazing app called Flow State, but there's a website that does the same thing called the Most Dangerous Writing App. And you set a timer, and then during that time you have to write. And if you stop for more than 5 seconds, it deletes everything.
Oh my God.
And that is the only way I get anything done. So you don't have to know how to be a good writer or a focused writer. You just have to have traps. You just have to show up and use your traps. The other piece of advice I'd get is like something that really helps if you're writing for stage is hearing your work out loud. And you don't have to hear it by good actors. You just have to hear it out loud so it's not your voice in your head, because your voice in your head will quickly stop reading the line and go, oh no, it should be this. And you just need to hear it at pace. So something I'd encourage is get your friends around, cook them some pasta, and get them to read your script aloud. And you can be really strict with them, like, I don't want feedback at the end. You know, we're not going to discuss how you'd write it at the end, but just get people to read it aloud for you. It's really helpful, and don't apologize or get ashamed. It's just a really simple tool. The other thing is, I think something I did when I was younger is I would share my work with people and I would be really desperate for their approval. So I would get obsessed with their feedback. And if they weren't sure about it in the slightest way, I'd then throw stuff out and be like, that idea is terrible. But something I do now with my friends is I go, if you want to show me something early, we can do something called gems only mode, which means I will respond. Even if I think it's the worst script in the world, I'll just tell you all my favorite bits because I know that it's early. I know that you're still finding your way. You don't need me to tell you what's right and wrong. You can figure that out. But right now, you just need some hope, some gems to tell you to keep going. So those are kind of my key things. You know what I mean? Don't think you're supposed to know how to do it all. You're allowed to ask for help, and you're allowed to use traps. That would be my advice. Oh, and also just it's great if you're inspired by other things, but by all means, try and write the thing you haven't seen. And if it scares you, that's probably a really good sign. If you're like, I have no idea how to write it, it's way too hard, that's a great sign, because you're going to have to be so inventive to figure it out. And it will probably take a lot longer, 10 times longer than you think, but that's okay. It'll be worth it. That's my advice.
Solid
Hope
advice.
It's not too corny.
Another main part that I've really, really loved listening and talking with our guests about is all of the behind-the-scenes antics that we just don't see as audience members. It's one of the things that I feel a lot of people don't think about or don't even consider when you're up on stage, and considering what actually can go wrong in a show. So you're going to listen to a couple of quick snippets from our podcast episodes this year. The first one you'll hear is Paul Taboni talking about the Phantom of the Opera, the Hand Opera one, which was the outdoor theatre. You will also hear Vidya Makan as well as Gare talk about their behind-the-scenes antics at Six the Musical. And continuing the Six the Musical trend, we also have Chiara Assetta telling us an amazing story about coming on stage for the very last song of Six the Musical at very short notice. And then you will hear from performers Aidan, Liam Head and Grace Mile from Jagged Little Pill talk about some of the antics that go on stage and what exactly goes through your head when that happens.
It is just a spectacle, isn't it? I mean, and I don't think, it does not help where we are battling elements of the weather that make it just that even more bit intriguing, I think, every night, because it's something different every night.
Every night, every single night. So when I went to see it, was the first kind of outdoor production I'd seen from Hand Opera. And when I was walking through to Macquarie's Point, I was walking
Things change, but Deer Park Natural Spring Water is a constant you can count on, bringing you the essence of home for 150 years and counting. Sourced from carefully selected springs, Deer Park Natural Spring Water has naturally occurring electrolytes for a crisp, refreshing taste. Find Deer Park Natural Spring Water at your favorite local retailer today. After 150 years, there's only one thing left to say. Deer Park. That's still good water.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Through the trails, I was like, okay, this is amazing. See the Phantom's mask here, and then you walk out and you see the set, and you just have this amazing grand staircase overlooking the harbour, and I was like, oh my God, that is insane. And then I had my umbrella, I had my raincoat, I was like, I'm ready for everything.
You're ready. You were ready, mate. You lucky you had everything, because when you came that night, it was raining too.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah. It was just kind of like on and off sprinkling a bit, which was fine, but nothing compared to what you guys have been battling recently.
No.
Like I was saying earlier, the video of Georgina, who's playing Christine, them just performing in the torrential downpour that happened that night. Could you tell us a little bit about that night, actually, Dev? Like a bit of insight.
Well, look, I'll email after this conversation. I'll email you the actual video. But that is only the front part of the performance. Wow. Just prior to that, I was doing my last scene before the Phantom kills me, and I had just died, and I was standing just behind the closed doors of that truck that you can see in the video. And I sent you this video now where you can see, like, I am holding my cape over my head, and I'm just thinking, what is my life? Because it was just like torrential rain.
Wow.
And, I was hiding in like this little igloo of my cape, just trying to protect myself because, we were just there in the middle of it all. Like, I've just never had such a surreal experience, and to perform like that.
And you guys just powered through as well.
Oh, mate. I mean, we tried our best. They did pause the performance and in the end cancelled it because it was torrential. Like, I'm from far north Queensland, and I'll honestly cannot say I don't remember the last time I've seen rain like that. It was insane.
It was so heavy.
Oh, it was insane. And then 2 days later, we had like gale force winds. Like, it's just, it just doesn't stop, But, it adds to the excitement for sure.
In Sydney, the way that the stage was, we didn't have wings, so you had to go up and down these stairs to get off. So if you've come and seen the show, come and see us. In Holbein, you run off the stage to go do a really quick change. We get like a sip of water, put the ruff on, and then come back on stage. And the note was always get off stage as quick as you can so you can get this ruff on. And I'm the first one up on the left-hand side. And there was this one show where I really didn't see the stairs and I was just thinking about getting off. But it's like if this was my body, it kind of turned into a plank and kind of like went like this and like a bobsled shot down, like this blue plank just fell down the stairs, and Stu, our costume lady, was waiting there for us to come through. She can't see anyone, but she sees these two boots just fall through the curtain. Oh. And then after she sees the boots, she sees this like little head pop out and I crawl in, but I'm going to rush as well. Get the ruff on, back on stage. So that,
my God.
That was one. Phoenix, and also Phoenix was behind me, so I fell, and then Phoenix kind of like fell with me, and Lauren watched the whole thing. That's over in an instant. So
I have so much sadness that I didn't see it. So I feel like
I'm kind of sad too.
Yeah, that was funny.
My company manager opened the door and was like, "And Chiara will be getting you ready for PAR," and I was like, okay. And then cue me running to my dressing room. And like, the good thing about, our company and the way it's all set up is that we do our makeup every single night, regardless we're on or not. And we have an emergency hairstyle. So we will do our hair in a hairstyle that is something that isn't similar to anyone else on stage. So that if we were to go on stage in an emergency, we don't look like anyone else. And the crown gets put on us and in costume, off we go. So I had already had my hair done, my makeup was done, and so all that needed to happen was literally me get into costume, put the crown on, and then I could just go. And I literally had my iPad out with my stage right notes, and I literally was just like looking at it like that. And I was like trying to literally just like take it all in, because obviously I hadn't been bar for a little bit. And so like one of the ones that I hadn't been that week. And so I was like, okay, but I was weirdly calm. I had Christina next to me just being like, is there anything you need? And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm just going to look over this script, because I was obviously going on for the final queen. So where I went on in the show was right before her massive monologue and her solo song. I did, Vidya was feeling unwell that night, and ended up, not being very well at all when she left the stage. So it was such an incredible call made by Vidya in that moment, because you have to make a call to be like, am I well enough to continue the show? And to make that call for yourself is just, I honestly admire her so much, because you have, it's like a minuscule of a second to be like, can I get through this, or do I need to make this call? And, we literally almost did like and she came on and I went on. And I think there was like a minute of pause. It was after All You Want to Do, and Chelsea finished her song, and then Chelsea walked off, and there was an announcement that just said the role of Catherine Parr will now be played by Chiara Assetta.
Oh, wow.
And the lights came back on, and on I went.
What?
On you went, yeah.
And I literally went straight into the moment where Parr is in the middle of the circle about to start singing.
Oh my God.
And I was like, in my head, I was like, of course this is how my week ends. It's been such a chaotic week of being on for, all the queens previously, and then I was like, it just wouldn't have been right if I ended the week on a normal way. I had to end it
absolutely
like a show going on for the last queen who literally hasn't even sung yet.
Wow.
Like this, the one funny thing that happened in the first Sydney run in All I Really Want, which is arguably like the most physically demanding show, the most physically demanding number. The automation didn't move, so like the screen didn't move and the platform didn't move. We do this big dance number. We're all doing insane choreo around each other. Liam doesn't know what that's like because he's watching Modern Family at this moment. But
too busy off stage.
Yeah, me and Grace are like absolutely giving everything on that stage in this number, and the automation didn't move, so we're all like running and doing dance moves and stuff up on top of the platform, down on the platform, like when we're supposed to be just on the stage.
It was the giving the eyes to each other, being like,
what do we do?
Is it going to stop? Is it going to stop? Is it going to be a curtain down? I don't know. Okay, just keep going.
Just keep going. So we danced the whole number in the wrong automation, like over the top of the little platform and where the table's on, and the screens didn't move, so we're going around the screens and stuff like, and we're all just in that moment kind of like clicked, and we're like, all right, guys, like same train of thought. It was just unbelievable. And we had some swings on that night too that, so it was just big chaos. And honestly, the moment where all could have gone wrong, and, despite the circumstances, nothing went wrong post that. So it was like, we're just very in tune. We're very good at looking after each other.
Now, one of my most favourite things that I've brought into the podcast this year, and you might have heard it in our recent episodes, is our 1 minute Theatre Thoughts. So essentially what 1 minute Theatre Thoughts is a 1 minute round of quickfire questions that my guests answer. And the next lot that you're going to hear is our quickfire questions coming from Carmel Rodriguez, Ali Morgan, Philip D'Ambrosio, Emma O'Sullivan, and Grant Dodwell. What's your favourite musical?
Phantom of the Opera.
Your first theatre memory?
Theatre memory was Wicked. Fiero!
Your most disliked musical?
What's Into the Woods.
Oh, controversial. Who's the funniest cast member in Hairspray?
Shane.
Okay, excellent. Your favourite musical theatre song?
So Much Better.
Excellent. What's your go-to movie musical?
Movie musical? Hairspray.
Nice, good answer. The most overrated musical?
Overrated? Into the Woods.
Okay, your karaoke song?
The Veronicas.
Oh, which one?
Untouched.
Excellent. And that's it, 1 minute. Well done. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh my gosh, I really love Burn by Usher.
Oh my God.
That's embarrassing.
Who is your favourite artist?
Artist? Phoebe Bridgers, yeah.
Nice.
That's fine. I just love her. I'm obsessed.
What is the best concert you've ever been to?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. Oh, Kate Miller-Heidke. I'm just saying all the same stuff. But yeah, Kate Miller-Heidke, she's amazing.
What is your go-to comfort TV show?
Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, excellent. I haven't watched
It's
any
recent.
seasons.
That's recent, actually. I've been binging the seasons since last year.
What artist inspires you?
Okay, let's go with, I'm going to say Phoebe Waller-Bridge because she's an actor, writer, hybrid, showrunner, amazing, extraordinaire person.
Love her so much. And, last one. Do you have a favourite musical?
Sure, yes. Oh, I love Six. That's on right now.
Nice. That's 1 minute.
Yay!
What is your favourite play?
Oh my God.
The Italians.
Great answer. Do you have a dream role?
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Great role. Which family would you rather be in, the Capulets or the Montagues?
Oh, shit. Montagues.
Montagues.
Right. Which film is better, The Godfather or Godfather Part 2?
Godfather Part 2, easily.
Part 2, yeah.
Nice, good answer. Who is your theatre inspiration?
Ooh, who specifically?
Emma O'Sullivan.
Definitely Phil and definitely... Oh my God, there's so
Everyone
many.
in the cast. Yeah. Everyone in the cast.
There's so many.
Great.
Yeah.
What's your most controversial theatre opinion? That's the last question.
Oh my God, I can't say
Or do
it.
you
I'll
have
get
a
cancelled.
controversial... Yeah, don't.
I mean, I do have a controversial theatre opinion. But...
Most controversial theatre... I don't know if it's particularly controversial.
No shows over 75 minutes. It's too long.
I like that.
I don't like intervals. I don't like sitting down for that long.
I've recently seen, because obviously the Fringe was on, I've seen a lot of 1 hour shows and it's perfect. I can do 75 minutes is perfect. 80 minutes I can do it. 90 is starting to push
Pushing
without
it.
interval.
And people have weak bladders these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think
We've definitely gone over a minute.
No, we have gone well. What is your favourite play?
To perform, the favourite play was Michael Frayn's Noises Off. To watch was Langford Wilson's landmark play Burn This, an extraordinary piece of theatre.
I love Noises Off.
Yeah.
Who was or is your theatrical idol?
Look, too many to mention. Cate Blanchett, Heather Mitchell, Hugo Weaving, Richard Broxma, to name a few. There are many, many, many more contemporary Australian actors.
What is your most cherished theatre memory?
I was performing a theatre and education play about star-crossed lovers in a women's remand prison in Melbourne.
Excellent. I want to hear more about that. Which do you prefer to work in more, film, TV or stage?
No preference. They are all individual mediums and have their own brilliance.
Great. Do you have a theatre mantra?
Yeah. Listen, listen, listen.
Love it. 5 seconds. What is your go-to warm-up routine before a show?
Stretching, spine rolls, mouth. Most important, extensive, rigorous vocal warm-up.
Excellent. And that's time.
Oh, missed the other ones.
Let's do the other ones anyway.
All right.
Who is the funniest actor you've worked opposite?
Well, all actors are playful and funny. Difficult question. So top of mind, Melbourne actor Grant Pirro. What area of most passionate about? And I'm really passionate about this question. What's the area of theatre I'm most passionate about? Youth theatre.
Yeah.
New playwrights, producers, directors, design, lighting, wardrobe, music. Our future.
Wow, that's the clip. That's the clip right there.
Right.
That's awesome. Well, that's a wrap for the Theatre Thoughts podcast for our very first year. Thank you for joining us on this journey for the first year. And if you have any feedback, anything else you'd love to see on the podcast, or any guests that you'd like us to have on the podcast, you can find us on our official podcast Instagram page at ttpod_official, or go to our website, theatrethoughtsaus.online. Thanks again. I'm going to switch off my thoughts for a good break, and we'll be back next year with more amazing guests talking about more amazing Australian theatre productions. We'll hopefully be going overseas at some point to interview some guests, virtually, maybe physically, who knows. I have a few wishes in my wish bag that I'm hoping comes true for next year. Thank you so much again, and that's a wrap for season 1. Thanks for listening to this episode of the podcast. Help us support our podcast team and our Theatre Thoughts reviewers by joining our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Or buy us a coffee by donating $5 and help to fund new independent theatre thoughts. Follow the link tree in this episode's description for more information. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time here on the Theatre Thoughts Podcast.
Have you ever wondered how your favorite performer actually feels? Well, here's your chance. Welcome to The Quiet Part Out Loud with me, Bobby Steggert, Broadway actor, and now a therapist to a whole host of Broadway creatives. Part interview, part therapy, this is not your typical podcast. We'll go right to the heart of things with some of your favorite artists, what they still struggle with, what lessons they've learned, what they haven't figured out yet. There's enormous power in saying the quiet part out loud. Are you listening?
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.